Hey, what's up guys, Darkbreaker here, welcome to the tier list for patch 2.4a. And if you guys enjoy this tier list and agree with the champions I put in each bracket, then if you guys don't want to miss out on any future videos, guides, commentaries, then definitely subscribe to the channel and let's hop right into the Baron tier list. So for the Baron tier list, some people might disagree with me, but I put Camille, Akali and Fiora for S+ tier. So why do I put those three champions at S+ tier? Because I think those champions have the greatest solo carry potential. This is a solo Q tier list. It's not for competitive, it's not for team orientated playmaking. It is for a solo queue ranked or duo queue, whatever. It's just in general where you are not coordinated with the other teammates. So why Camille? Camille S+ tier in my opinion. Solid laning phase, good split pushing, also good in team fights because of the ADC meta right now. What does it mean? A lot of people run 2 ADCs or even 3 ADCs in their team comp, and Camille with the ultimate is very good at picking those champions off, locking them in the ultimate, and then your teammates can just secure the kill. So you have a lot of playmaking potential with the ultimate and your hook shot, catching people and initiating, going for engages. So overall, she has the whole package. I really like to play Camille. I think she is really good in this current meta to carry games, and that's the most important thing. In general, this tier list, I would say it applies for high elo, also lower elo. I think most stuff is accurate. Like, I would say from platinum to challenger, this tier list should be pretty accurate. If you guys have any feedback or you guys disagree with me, then definitely write it down below in the comments. This is a subjective tier list. It is my tier list. Obviously some people will disagree or agree with it. Next one is gonna be Akali. I think Akali is very good in solo queue, both in the mid lane as well as in the top lane. Laning phase is definitely weaker, but you can just go fleet, and with fleet I think she still has a very solid laning phase, and in team fights she is super busted. Carry potential is very good on Akali. She's also a great ADC killer, so that's why I rate her pretty high in my opinion, just because of her carry potential. And in ranked she's always banned. She's like one of the most contested banned champions, so definitely in my opinion S+ tier. Now next champion is gonna be Fiora. Fiora in my opinion, very strong laning phase, and if you manage to play her really well, split pushing wise, I think she can be very dominating in the laning phase, and if she gets ahead, she can also carry team fights. Like I always say to you guys, her team fighting is not that great, but if you get ahead enough in the early and mid game, and you get the tier 1 turret, you secure the herald, then I think she can be pretty strong in the right hands. S+ if you're very proficient on Fiora, otherwise maybe S tier. But I think in my opinion it's a very solid and strong pick. Just team fight wise it can fall off, but if you master here and you always snowball your lane, I think you can carry better than on teamfight orientated champions, than tanky champions. Okay, for the S tier we have Garen, Gragas, Malphite. I will put those three together because those are the tanky Baron laners. Garen, strong laning phase, good frontliner, not the greatest utility, but he's a good frontliner in general and does his job pretty well. That's why I put him in S tier. He's still very good even after the nerf. Same applies for Gragas. You can play him for the tank build, the hybrid build, or the AP build. Most of the times people run him tank build. I think the reason I don't put him S+ tier is that he is too teamfight orientated. Like, you are too reliant on your teammates to carry because you built him full tanks. So yeah, you're probably not going to be able to one-shot the ADC. And if you go the tank build, definitely, I would say you are not going to snowball your lane. And you are also not going to carry teamfight super hard by killing the ADC. So that's why I like to play champions that can actually kill the enemy AD carries. Or otherwise, they're just going to win the teamfight. If your bot lane plays bad, you need the champion that can kill them. If you go Gragas, you are too reliant on your teammates, and trust me, a lot of games I would have bot lanes that go 0-5. 0-5 ADC, 0-5 bot support. You guys think a tank Gragas is gonna carry? Nah, you need something like Camille, Akali, that roam, join the team fights, and just smash the ADCs. So that's why I just put them S tier. And in general, that's my ranking. Champions that can actually carry in team fights and kill the backline and also strong in the laning phase. Those champions are S+ tier, in my opinion. Now, next one, Renekton. Solid laning phase, solid team fight. Gets kited by ADCs kinda, so that's why I just put him S tier. But overall, very solid pick. Same for Darius. Solid laning phase, good 1 vs 9 carry potential, but gets kited in some compositions. Riven, strong laning phase, good carry potential, but can be tricky in some team comps because you don't have a frontliner and she's very squishy. That's why I think S tier, S- is pretty fair for her. Next one, Malphite. Dude, if I run on every champion's gonna take so long for the tier list. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this tier list, then definitely like the video as well, because I think the video is gonna be pretty long if I cover every champion. Malphite, solid laning phase, good team fight impact, solid package overall. Like, he has a lot of playmaking potential with the ultimate, but definitely you are very reliant on your teammates to do damage. And yeah, that's why I just put him S tier. I think she's very, very solid pick, but not S+. Next one, Jax. Jax got buffed, and therefore I think he is very good in the lane. Obviously, some matchups he's gonna struggle, but I'm tending between A and S tier. I have to play him more. Some matchups gonna be very hard for him, like Jax against Akali, Jax against Fiora. I think those matchups are kinda hard. But besides that, he can do very solid as a split pusher. And teamfight wise, he is not the greatest in teamfights. You need to keep split pushing, farming, and then you join teamfights and you carry. So, between A and S tier. Then Graves, I think Graves has potential to be S tier, but overall, he can get kited pretty easy in some team comps, and he's very situational depending on the opponent laner you're facing, and also depending on the enemy team comp. So A is pretty solid, but potential to be S tier. Lee Sin, very cheesy snowballing top laner. I rate him A tier. He can cheese and carry games, but he can also just flop if you play it against the wrong team comp. Tryndamere, A tier. I think he has potential to be very good. Especially with the new crit items, I think he's pretty solid. I have a new crit Tryndamere video coming up soon. He's actually pretty solid. Next one, Pantheon. Very strong laning phase. Good team fighting, but he falls off in the late game, so that's why just A tier. Jarvan, laning phase, solid, good team fighting, overall decent tank, but he isn't as good as Malphite, Garen, and Gragas. Diana, solid Baron laner, decent laning phase, good team fighting, that's why I put an A tier. Olaf, also A tier. Situational, I think he can be good against tanks because of the true damage, but against team compositions with a lot of abilities to kite him, he can be pretty bad. So pick him against a lot of melee champions that are tanky and where he's not gonna get kited. Aurelia, high skill ceiling champion. I think she is better in the mid lane, therefore I just put her in A tier. Cannon, solid. Yeah, solid champion, good team fighting, decent laning phase. Can carry games pretty hard as well, so that's why I put him in A tier. Then Galio, I think Galio has potential. In the right team comp, if you need some AP, Galio in the top lane is also pretty solid. Like, I've seen it being used in competitive a lot of times. So I do believe you can join Dragon team fights and your laning phase is pretty solid. You're very hard to kill if you go for semi-tanky build where you build some armor, for example. Nasus surprisingly is getting pretty good in my opinion. I've seen a lot of tanky Nasus players, like they go for Iceborne Gauntlet and they have been performing really well against bunch of champions in the S tier. Because he can just build really tanky and he can't die and he can just farm up and then he can teleport into the team fights and carry. So I definitely think he can be A tier. Maybe between B and A tier, I would give, if you're really good on Nasus, can be A tier. Wukong, solid laning phase, good team fighting, but isn't as good as the S and S plus tier. Yasuo, high skill ceiling, can be good in the Baron lane. Dr. Mundo, hey! Dr. Mundo got buffed. I think he can be very good in the Baron lane right now. With Crystal, you have 800 HP, level 1, level 2 with Ignite of Barrier. Very, very strong. Beats almost any champion 1 versus 1, level 2. And if you can farm up, you can become an absolute beast, so definitely solid. Singed, kinda underrated. I definitely think he can be very good if you get 2 core items, and the longer the game goes, the stronger you get. Akshan, he got buffed, but I don't know, man. I tried him out. I think he's just B tier. Rengar got nerfed. Can be cheesy pick if you can pull him off. I think B tier. Lucian, Vayne, those are cheesy counter picks in some certain matchups where you want to kite and bully the enemy bruiser, so I just put him or put those two B tier. Zed, I was told by random Zed can be a really good pick in the top lane to counter some matchups, and in general Zed is very good in this current meta to bully ADC, so B tier. Teemo also can be a good counter pick, fits in some team comps, therefore just B tier. Rammus, yeah, I think he can be viable in the top lane. I was told by random, he played it a few times, can definitely be a really good counter pick into bruisers and build full armor. Lulu, bullying support pick in the top lane, very strong poke. Definitely viable in some matchups and in some team compositions. If you guys have Master Yi, for example, and you just want to play Lulu, you can play Master Yi and Lulu together and just go Lulu top lane. I've seen some Alistars in the top lane, I just put it C tier. I think it's like, just play him support. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the Baron lane. I'm gonna cut right here and let's hop right into the jungle tier list. Okay, boys, time for the jungle tier list. I'm gonna make it quick. S plus Camille, very good utility. Still good. The nerfs don't matter. The nerfs don't matter at all. Kha'Zix, one of the strongest junglers right now. Very good assassin. Then also Master Yi, S plus tier, super strong after the buff right now. Especially if you have a Lulu support, Master Yi can become 1 versus 9, just runs people down. Same for Lee Sin. Good playmaker, very strong early game. Then other S tier champions are Xin Zhao, very solid pick, super tanky, good playmaker. Same for Wukong, can be built tanky, bruiser build, good utility, decent jungle clear. Fizz, after the nerf, I'm not sure if he falls off more. I think he's still solid S tier. His damage is still absolutely insane, so his jungle clear is definitely weaker now, but I think he's still S minus or A plus. I'm just gonna put him S tier for now because he's permaban. He's still permaban. Everyone's still permabanning him. I think he is still very good because even if his jungle clear got weaker, his damage output is still the same. It's just still one shot. You still get one shot by him. Then A plus Evelyn. Graves, Dr. Mundo now. I think Dr. Mundo after the buff can be very good. His jungle clear is solid. His tanking potential already really good. And same applies for Gregors. You can build him tanky or AP. I've seen some AP Gregors doing really well. I've played it in the past. Good carry champion. And if you guys want to build a poke comp, I think Gregors jungle AP is pretty good. And also if you need some AP damage, if everyone builds or everyone is AD. Didn't mention, I think Evelyn's still very cheesy and solo queue still works, even after the nerfs. Graves also weaker than in the Baron lane, but he can be very good at 1 versus 9ing by farming up, but definitely doesn't fit in every team comp, and you can get kited pretty easily in some team comps. Okay, sorry, wait a second. Then Jarvan. Yeah, solid jungler with a lot of utility, tanky, so he fits in every team comp basically. Then other 8-tier champions are Fiora, solid duelist, Rammus after the buff. I don't know. I've played him a few times. I think he's 8-tier. I think the buff is not that big, to be honest. I think 8-tier is fair. Then Vi, also utility jungler, 8-tier is pretty solid for her. Tryndamere, I would say 8-tier. Very decent clear speed. And with the ultimate, I think he can soak a lot of damage and still does a lot of damage, especially with the new crit items. Pantheon, 8-tier, very strong early game jungler, but falls off in the late game. Rengar, after the nerf, I think he is still 8-tier because his first ability didn't get nerfed, just his other abilities. Olaf 8-tier because he gets kited in a lot of team compositions. I think in this current meta, he just gets kited by ADCs super hard. Then other junglers, Yasuo. I made a video for Yasuo jungle. It's being used by Chinese pro players. I think it can work in some team compositions, definitely. And has potential to be 8-tier if you play him really well. Darius, I just put Darius in because you can play him in the jungle. He's okay-ish, but he can get kited pretty easily. Aurelia also, I think she's better in the mid lane, but I've seen some people run her in the jungle and perform decently. Since jungle video coming up soon, I think it's okay. Jungle clear is okay. His ganking is okay. It's not too bad. Amumu, I feel like he gets bullied too hard in the jungle and people just abuse him, invade him, and he just falls off. If he doesn't snowball at the first team fight, he is just really bad in my opinion. Jax jungle, for guys who didn't understand the changes yet, they buffed the laning Jax but nerfed the jungle Jax because instead of 20% attack speed in the early game, you can only get 10%. So it's definitely a jungle clear nerf. Even if you have the damage reduction, his jungle clear is way worse now. Shyvana B tier, even with Wit's End and your power farm. If you're really proficient at her and you're really good at power farming, I think she can be like A tier. Or even better if you're really good at her. But they nerfed her too much. They nerfed her too much in my opinion, and that's why just B tier. Riven, better in the lane. Same for Kshan, but hey, definitely those two are viable in the jungle. If you guys want to try them out, I think they are decent picks. And then Diana, I think I think she can be used in the jungle. Okay-ish clear speed, okay-ish jungle. Her team fight is very strong, that's why I just B tier. And if you guys are wondering why no C or D tier, it just means that those picks are not. If I don't put any champions in C and D, that means if I put them, they are probably not viable or you should not play them. Because you guys can see, I basically put 20 champions and anything below B you should just not play, to be honest. Because I don't think they're viable. Anyways, that's for the jungle tier list, and let's hop right into the next one. It's gonna be mid lane. Okay, let's continue with the mid lane tier list. The best picks, in my opinion, for the mid lane are Akali. She is permaban, she's super broken. Same for Ziggs. His teamfight damage and his poking damage just absolutely insane. Lucian very oppressive in the laning phase, and his damage output in teamfights just crazy. Diana, teamfight damage, just nuts. Katarina, her snowballing and her teamfight. You get one reset, you just clean everything. So that's why I put those champions in the S+ tier. Since I'm not a mid lane main, I can't cover those picks too much. I'm just gonna give you my experience facing those champions and what I think of those champions individually. Fizz, I think still very strong in the mid lane. If he gets going and gets some core items, he just one-shots you. Annie! Hey, guys, trust me, Annie, very, very strong right now. Her damage output, just crazy. Even after the nerf, it's just a slight HP and mana nerf, doesn't matter, doesn't affect her. Not gonna lie, doesn't affect her at all. Why is she so good? Because everyone is running 2 or 3 ADCs, and she's really good at catching those ADCs and one-shotting them. Protobelt ultimate or Flash ultimate, very, very good on Annie right now. And she just fits the meta. Like, she's a really good counter pick against all those ADC champions. Therefore, S tier. I'm not capping, trust me, S tier. And if you guys want to see an Annie video, then write it down below in the comments, because trust me, she is very, very strong. And if you guys have watched my streams when I played with Doom against Kimao and the Annie one trick, the Annie one trick just shits on us. Every time she 1 versus 9's the game. Like, I win my lane, but the Annie, she just goes 1 versus 9, she just roams, she gets picks off, she just one-shots people in teamfights. I think she's very, very good right now. And it's not clickbait or anything, that's actually my honest opinion. She's very, very strong. Aurelia in the right hands can be very, very obnoxious. Falls off in teamfights, in my opinion. I mean, definitely if you are snowballing, you can pop off in teamfights. But in general, on average, you will fall off in teamfights. Zed, very good in the current meta of 2 ADCs. You need to finish the games quickly though. If people get Zhonya's, it's gonna be very hard for Zed. High skill ceiling champion. If you're very good at him, S tier. If you're not proficient on him, just A tier. Corki, solid ADC with a lot of magic damage, 80% magic damage usually. If you guys need magic damage and you have a lot of AD damage, then Corki is your pick. And with the crit items, definitely think Corki is super broken. I mean, not S+, but still a very solid pick. Same applies for Galio. A lot of utility, a lot of damage as well. Solid, very solid pick. Then Yasuo, high skilling champion, can be S tier in the right hands, but I just put him A+ tier with the new crit items, and in the right hands he is a very good pick. Ari, solid poking champion with a lot of pick-off potential and roaming potential. Aurelion, roaming potential. I like mid lane champions that can roam and snowball and pressure on every lane. Therefore I put Twisted Fate and Aurelion in A+ tier. They do fall off though, because they're kind of short range. TF can get caught pretty easily, and he doesn't have the biggest range compared to Ziggs, who can be very safe and poke non-stop and never die. TF can get caught and get camped very easily compared to Ziggs. Aurelion just falls off in the late game and is more like he jumps into people and just crashed on them and doesn't I think champions that can poke or champions that can jump into the team fight and just nuke everyone are better. Therefore I put champions like Diana, Katarina, Kali over Aurelion. Orianna, I think she's a very solid pick. Obviously people might say she's S tier or A+ tier. It's up to you. I think she is very solid pick. I just put her A tier because I don't see her that much anymore. Seraphine, maybe I shouldn't put Seraphine A tier. I think she can be a good playmaking champion with a lot of poke damage. I think maybe better in the bot lane. Maybe just B+, B or A tier. Between A or B tier. I just put the A tier for now. Camille, A, not gonna lie, kinda underrated. I think her roaming potential and her getting picks off, roaming with her hook shot, very underrated. I played her a few times and I do have a good Camille mid lane video. Maybe I'm gonna release it pretty soon if you guys want to see it. Camille, A tier, or maybe just, I think A tier is fine. If you go fleet and you put some points into the second ability, even against poking champions, you don't get poked out and you can sustain back up. So I think she is a pretty good roamer. Not as good, I mean, same level like Twisted Fate, like good, solid, roaming, pressuring mid laner. Gragas, maybe not A tier. I think Gragas is better in the top lane, and his wave clear is kind of bad in the mid lane. So he gets kind of out-roamed. Okay, maybe not A tier mid lane. Maybe just B or B plus for the mid lane. Then I put some maybe questionable picks in the B tier. It's gonna be Lux, a solid poking champion. Same for Varus, solid poking champion. But you can get collapsed on pretty easily and you can really roam. But definitely viable. Pantheon mid lane to cheese some mid lane picks. Cannon, better top lane, but can be used in the mid lane. His clear is not that good and he gets outpoked by a lot of champions. Akshan, not sure to be honest. Like, he got buffed, but I still think he's not that strong. Then Ezreal, I think Ezreal can be used in the mid lane if you are really desperate and need a pick for the mid lane, but besides that, better pick him in the bot lane. Anyways, that's it for the mid lane, and let's hop right into ADCs. Okay, let's go. ADCs. ADC meta, you guys know the new crit items. Kai'Sa still very broken since forever. I don't know why they haven't nerfed her. I think she's just way too strong. Good, insane damage. Her ultimate gives her so much shield, and with charge blade, just so strong. Same for Saya. Very good ADC, a lot of damage, good crowd control, and good kiting. Vayne, S+ because of the Vayne Lulu combo. It's just super strong. You get your core items now, Wit's Hand or Charge Blade. You just run people down and you have so much damage. So S+. Other S tier champions, Varus, very strong poking champions. Same for Ezreal. Ezreal 3 items is just insane poking damage. Draven, he's super strong in the early game and he can snowball games very hard, so that's why I put him in S tier. If you're very proficient on Draven, he can be super obnoxious to lane against. Then Senna A+. I think she's better as a support because of her souls. You don't get that many souls as ADC Senna. And it's solo queue. I think in competitive the answer would be different because you could go fasting Senna, you go Senna with Gragas, Galio, Ziggs or something, and let the other person farm up and do the damage. Yeah, therefore I just put the A tier or A+ tier. Like, Senna works better in duo queues than in solo queue. Misfortune, maybe I put Misfortune too high, to be honest. I think she is very, very solid pick, to be honest. Like, A+ or A is not a big difference. Like, you guys could argue, it depends on the skill level of the player. Honestly, I'm not an ADC main, or I don't play that many ADC champions. I did play a lot of ADCs for the ADC challenge. So, I have to say, actually I think Ashe is easier to play than Misfortune. Misfortune, strong early game, but she falls off. Corki, solid pick, obviously, but I feel like he is better in the mid lane. Then Ashe, I think she's a very solid pick. With her ultimate, she has a lot of pick-off potential. Jinx with Lulu can be very good, but it's just not as good as the other S or S+ tier champions. Lucian, I feel like he is way better in the mid lane, and he got nerfed. So in the laning phase against some of the S and S+ tier champions, he isn't just that good. Tristana, I just put her A tier. I have no big opinion about Tristana because I don't see her that much. But in a late game, when she gets core items, she's very, very strong. Then Ziggs can be used as ADC in some team comps. Very, very good pick in competitive. Solo queue, kinda uncoordinated, so I just put him B tier because I don't know. Like, Ziggs ADC means you don't have a real ADC champion. And you really have to play around the Ziggs pick when you play Ziggs ADC. And it works better in competitive than in solo queue. Akshan, I think this pick is not that good, even after the buff, especially as ADC. Jhin, honestly, I have no opinion about Jhin because I never see him. I think he's an okayish pick. No one plays him. Graves as ADC, I've seen it a few times, but I don't think it's good, so I just put it C tier. Anyways, that's for the ADC tier list. Might not be accurate for some of you guys. Because I don't play that many ADCs. I'm just basing it off on my experience playing against those champions. Who is the most obnoxious and hardest to play against, and therefore I just put Kai'Sa very strong, Xayah, Vayne as well. Astro late game can be very good. Draven falls off in the late game. Early game, very obnoxious if he gets going. Varus late game poking champion can be very good. And yeah, Senna, I think she's better as support. Anyways, let's hop right into the support tier list. So, this is the support tier list. It's gonna be Nami, S+, Janna, S+, and Lulu, S+. Why those champions? They are really good poking enchanters that provide a lot of utility and are very good at peeling for your ADC. It's ADC meta. You need champions that can peel for your 1 vs 9 ADC. Lulu, Vayne, insane. Janna, one of the best supports for ages because of her shielding, her poking in the laning phase, very strong early game, good peeling for your ADC using the shield, the tornado, and her monsoon in team fights. Nami, a lot of poking damage, good healing, her ultimate can be game changer, and she's just a very solid pick. Then for S tier, I do have Thresh. I think it really depends on the skill level of the Thresh player. If you're very proficient, it's S tier, because this champion is all about landing your skill shots, making plays, and if you can pull off those plays, I definitely think he is S tier. If you don't hit your hooks, if you don't know how to use your what's the name, the pullback or the push away, the fling or something, then it's just A tier, but definitely S tier potential. Then Alistar, very strong tank. His ultimate is still broken, his engage is still very good. The Flash S2, S1 combo, or the Flash S1 and then push them back with the S2. Good playmaking champion, still very strong tank. Braum, same. Good against poking champions, thanks to his shield. Good peeler, good ultimate. Overall solid, but he's not that good as a peeler. Like, I think enchanters just work so much better in the ADC comp right now. But Alistar and Braum definitely solid picks. Senna support in the right team comp. I think she is very strong with her utility, her permanent auto attacks and poking people down, her roaming potential thanks to her third ability. But you definitely need at least one tanky front line, and don't go full crit. Come on, don't go full crit as a support. And if you play duo queue, I think Senna support can be very, very good. For example, Senna support with Ziggs, Gragas, Galio, strong AP champions that can farm up, and then Senna basically just needs the souls and doesn't need the last hits, and she's just gonna scale like a truck in the late game. It's better than going double ADC or triple ADC, so therefore duo queue might be better to just go maybe even with Leona or Pantheon and stuff like that. Or actually not with Leona, like if you go ADC Senna then with Leona or something, but otherwise, yeah, can be very good in duo queue and also solo queue. You really need to know when to pick it and also build it correctly. I have a Senna video coming up soon. Rakan Saya combo, very strong, especially if you go AP Rakan in combination with Saya, giving her so much shield. Very strong combo. Therefore S tier. Soraka got buffed. I have no real opinion about Soraka yet. I've seen her a few times and her popularity is rising. I'm gonna try to make a Soraka video pretty soon. I think for now I just put her A+ tier. Between A and S tier, that's a fair estimate for now. Definitely have to see and play her, like play against her and play her myself, and then we can judge it better. But I think A+ tier is a pretty solid estimate on her position in the tier list. Lux, A+ tier. Good poking champion, good carry support, because if you run her AP, she gives a lot of shield and she can also carry team fights with her damage. Definitely a decent peeler, good poke, but you definitely need to know when to pick her in the right team comp. Can work in poking team compositions, but usually you want to have at least one tanky champions, otherwise you will lack a tank or a frontline. Then Gragas hybrid or Gragas tank, good crowd control, solid team fighting, good utility because of his ultimate. He can catch people and also has the S3 flash combo, his dash flash combo, to pick off people and to stun them. Then Galio, a lot of utility, solid pick, therefore I put him A+ tier. A tier Leona, decent playmaker, got buffed recently, but just isn't that strong compared to Alistair and Braum. But has potential. Seraphine Sona comp, very strong, especially in competitive, with a new staff item. Those two together are very strong, but if you play them in solo queue, it's harder to pull them off than if you play them duo queue. You play Seraphine and Sona duo queue together, very strong. So potential to be S tier, but I put those two for A tier for now. Good crowd control, good poke damage, but not that good in peeling compared to like Nami, Jenna, and Lulu for ADCs. Blitzcrank, kinda cheesy pick, can make plays happen, same for Pantheon. Those three picks are basically very cheesy picks that can make plays happen. Then I've seen some people go Garen desperately for support. I think he's way better in the top lane. He gets bullied in the laning phase by a lot of champions. He doesn't provide any CC and peeling, so just C tier. And he way better in the mid lane than as a support. I do think she has some playmaking potential with the ultimate, but yeah, don't think she's that strong. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the video. Kind of long video. I'm gonna put timestamps obviously so you guys can skip forward if you want to see each champion. And that's gonna be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed this tier list, then smash the like button to support the channel. Subscribe to the channel to not miss out on daily commentaries and guides, and activate notifications so you guys don't miss out on those videos. And I see you next time. Bye bye.